You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast. What's up, punters and dribblers? Welcome back to the Hello Sport Podcast. I'm Unqualified Opinion and Unwavering Bias, coming to you live, loud and proud from the Gold Coast Pro. The Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro, if I can drop in a sponsor who doesn't sponsor us, but they sponsor the event. WSL, heard of it? Big surf guys. Didn't know it. Now you do. Never stood up on a wave. Not a big deal. Straight from Magic Round down to the Goldie to just keep these road dogs, man. We don't stop.
Couple of absolute road dogs here. Shout out to the punter and the dribbler. You find us at Burleigh Heads.
Yeah.
That's where you find us, overlooking the ocean.
It's an amazing day.
Event not running today for those interested because the waves weren't good enough.
Yet they kind of look all right. I don't know. This is the thing that I'm sort of learning about surfing, is that it's very vibey sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean,
the weather always.
We're going to be having to chat to a few boys today, and we can get their opinions on that. You know, like, what are you seeing here, and why isn't it up to rugby league scratch, essentially? Because
what I'm seeing is waves and people surfing them.
Yeah. You also find your boys Tom and Eddie in the Rugby League Hurt Locker.
Yep.
Monday, the 5th of May.
3 p.m.-ish.
After a couple of big nights. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
No, you're not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not going to come here to Burleigh Heads
for the Gold Coast Pro
to sugarcoat stuff.
No.
I'm not doing it.
What's the point?
Leave your sugar at home,
yep.
as they say.
As they say.
Because Thursday night, we get up to Magic Round, you know, and there was nothing doing.
Well, just, you know, is it best, like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes.
And we had the best of intentions on Thursday night, which is let's just get up there, let's just get settled, have a nice dinner, maybe watch the Women's State of Origin, and just go to bed, because a lot going on.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, jam-packed.
Yes.
That didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
We got smashed.
No.
We sat in my room. Tobler came in.
Yep.
And we sat in there, and we cleared out 3 minibars. We cleared out 3 minibars of everything that they had.
It was a Hello Sport bonding evening.
It was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was a bonding session.
It wasn't in the calendar, but they don't always need to be. They don't always need to be.
No.
A Hello Sport bonding session where, you know, we showed our employee a good time.
I just like
via the power of dribble and yarn, and via the
alcohol,
via the power of emptying a couple of mini bars.
Yeah, put a hurting on them. But great Thursday night with a couple of mates. The girls got up, they dusted those Queensland fucks, and that was nice to see. That was good. That was a good start, a good positive start to the weekend. But what it did do was immediately put pressure on my Friday.
So that's what you gotta remember, punters and dribblers, about the impromptu bonding session is that it can put pressure onto your Friday.
Yeah, and everything you have to do.
Which, you know, and it compounds. I think that's worth thinking about as well. Compound interest.
Yeah, heard of it?
Heard of it.
Explain to the people what compound interest is, Eddie.
Well, it just compounds over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I basically think about it this way. Let's say that I have, after Thursday night, I'm now required, metaphorically, to start carrying around 2 bricks with me. It's manageable.
Yeah.
But I'm still carrying 2 bricks. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, I do.
And I've got things to do whilst carrying 2 bricks.
And these bricks are going to immediately make it a little bit more difficult.
It's just going to make life a little bit harder. But it is what it is. But I've got bricks to carry, Tom. Now, what happens then if you give it a bit of a crack on Friday night as well, is you maybe wake up with 6 bricks now that you're carrying.
Well, before you know it, you're a brickie.
Now you're a brickie. Now you're a fucking brickie. and your back's fucked, and your knees are fucked, and your hands are fucked. And the thing about the bricks we were carrying is we didn't have brick holders.
No, we didn't have brick holders.
You know those blokes you see when a proper bricky, Tom. A proper bricky's going to have the right equipment. He might have a barrow, or he might have those things.
Those things that which are still to this day one of the most impressive bits of ingenuity I've ever seen on a job site. Not the point.
How many bricks can you fit into one of those things? 6. So you can carry 12 bricks pretty comfortably.
Listen, again, you know you're carrying them, but you can do it more efficiently. The way we were carrying bricks was there's one in one pocket, there's a bit of one in my other pocket, one's in my arse. Like
I've got one around my neck.
Yeah. So, you know, and listen, let's not jump ahead to that. But I mean, then you ask the question: well, what about if you go again on Saturday night?
I know. Like,
and you got to get to the Gold Coast.
What happens then to the bricks?
Yeah.
Have you got more bricks? Now we've probably got 12 bricks going into yesterday.
Yeah. Of course you do. But then what happens, Eddie, if you get down to the Gold Coast on Sunday night and you're on the couch with Tobler watching the rugby league?
Having a really contented afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, we took our time checking out of the hotel. We had a nice breakfast, Tom. We moved like a sloth on a bad day.
Yeah.
Like
a sloth carrying bricks.
We you know, in the history of this planet, there would have been the slowest of all sloths. It was that sort of day.
It was that sort of a day.
It was that sort of a day yesterday, and you get to the Goldie. Beautiful spot, by the way.
Great spot.
The Burleigh Pavilion's fucking...
Burleigh Towers.
Burleigh Towers, Tom? Yeah. Overlooking Burleigh Pavilion. Beautiful spot. Floor 14.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a beautiful view. We got the rugby league on the television. The sun's setting. It was just a magical afternoon. Tobler had ordered... Heaps. Pods, lollies, shapes, Portos... M&M's,
booze, which the booze was an indicator that whilst we had every intention not to do anything, there was some. Why did we get it?
Well, because Tobler said, should we get some beers? And I was like, well, we may as well just have a couple laying around.
And if you're going to get beers, you may as well get a bottle of whiskey.
If you're getting it. Now, but again, I want to reiterate, as the great Ronnie Blakey walks in, I want to reiterate to the punter and the dribbler that it wasn't our intention, right, to go out. In fact, we didn't want to.
But then you get
the Blakey boys, Vaughan and Ronnie, shout out to them, who are like, why don't you come down and watch Steph Gilmore play with Spiderbait?
Yeah.
And you think to yourself...
Cram's got the sticks. He's on the drums.
Cram's got the sticks.
Come down and fucking check it out.
Cram's got the sticks. And then you think to yourself, do I really want to go down and watch Stephanie Gilmore play with Spiderbait in the light drizzle after 3 big nights?
Carrying this many bricks?
Because that's the thing you got to remember. I've still got bricks to carry.
Yeah.
Do I want to carry them around? And then you think to yourself, don't you? You think, you can't say no. It'd be rude.
Well, not just rude, Eddie, but there's a part of me, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a testament to the human spirit. But a part of me wants to go down there. I'm going to go down there.
The thing about the human spirit, Tom, is that it endures.
Yeah.
That's the great hallmark of the human spirit.
And I'll tell you what helps, Eddie, and what people don't tell you about the bricky business.
Yeah.
Is that there is some unexplained reality that as you start to... When you're in the process of collecting more bricks, i.e. getting fucked up, you can't feel the weight of the other bricks. It feels like they're gone.
No.
Feels like the bricks are gone.
I would almost say that you're allowed to put them down. So it's sort of like, you know...
It's a brief reprieve.
The more you rip, the more bricks in a row, the more bricks you got to carry. But you just go, but I don't want to carry them anymore. So the gods say, well, you can put the bricks down for the night, but you will wake up with more tomorrow.
Yeah, you will. And you go, I'll take that bet.
The other thing about it, though, is if you stumble into infectious energy...
Yes.
If you stumble into energy that won't quit and that just has a bit about it, if you walk into energy that's excited, it's bold, it's beautiful...
Funny, laughing.
Fucking funny and ready to rip and tear... You can get carried away.
You can. And listen, that's exactly what happened.
1 brings 2 sort of stuff.
Yeah, 1 brings 2 brings 10, and
then all of a sudden,
I'm building a house today.
You're in the Burleigh pub with some new friends, having a great time.
Yeah. After the place is closed, I think.
I know. You know, if you're with the right people.
If you're with the right people, and shout out to them.
You got to be with the right people. If you're with the right people, things happen. Doors open.
or close, and they keep you inside, pounding double whiskies until the wee hours.
Yep.
Anyway, great night's sleep. About 9 of the best. Woke up. We planned on doing this podcast early today because we needed to, get it done for you guys. We woke up at 12, and it's now 3. Listen, punters and dribblers, if you're watching this, you may notice that we've sort
You're like, geez, things have changed, haven't they?
How the hell have you? What's happened here? It doesn't look like you're stationed in front of breaking waves down at Burleigh, surrounded by gorgeous surfing types. No, not anymore. We ran out of time in that spot.
So we've moved, we've shifted. So basically, they had a work event on.
Yeah, a bit of a schmoozy,
there was
ritzy do.
Yeah, a schmoozy ritzy do in there. Starting at 5, and it was 4:30, and because we brought half of the studio with us, it was taking half an hour to pack the cunt down, and now you'll find us on the couch.
We're on the couch.
So you might be like, what have you been doing?
What have we been doing?
Because the sun's obviously gone down. What have you been doing?
It seems dark.
Well, Tobler took 4 hours to get back, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing.
Mueller was a bit slow, I think, carrying everything back.
I believe we carried most of it.
You believe we carried most of it, Tobler, so there's that. Then I've probably worked through close to 3/4 of a box of Shapes chicken crimpies.
Not to mention a full box of pizzas. Pizza Shapes, that is.
I've had a Yogo mix with choc chips.
Really nice. Couple of peanut M&Ms.
That's right.
There are some Allen's lollies, I believe, Tobler might have bought. This is like a fucking kid's sleepover, this house.
Yeah, it is. I've doom scrolled. I just watched the 4x100 metre relay race at the 2012 Games.
Yep. We're watching a bit of Antiques Roadshow as well, Edward.
Yeah, which led then to the 200 metre final between Usain Bolt and Johan Blake, which then led to the 100 metre final. So is that important? No.
We're just getting you up to speed.
But but what I do think is important is context.
Yep.
And that's what I've just provided to all of you.
Yep. Now, I believe, just if I'm in my head, ever the producer mind, you can't, you're always a producer, you know what I mean? So it's always going on in the background in your head. But I feel like the flow of this episode will be beachside, then we're going to cut to us in here, then back out to the beach.
Yes. So don't get confused.
Don't get confused if it's all of a sudden daytime again and we're with Ronnie, Blakey, Joe Turpel and
Julian Wilson. Like, don't be alarmed.
Don't be alarmed. That's all good. Magic round. Where were we? Bit of magic round shit, right? We've been carrying bricks. It's been a big carry. And the bricks have come home to roost today. And credit to us, we're not doing anything tonight. We're laying low. We'll probably have too much sugar and whatever else.
There'll be a lot of sugar pumped through the bod. Know that. Know that.
I'll be driving sugar right into me.
Absolutely pounding the sugar tonight. That's guaranteed. Yep. I'll probably slip into bed. I'll be firing up my iPad. Probably won't use the stylus, but I'll look at it. And I'll be watching, I would say, I'll definitely be watching The Last of Us.
Yeah, I've got a couple of episodes to get.
That's what I'll be watching. I'll be watching The Last of Us on my iPad with the stylus, potentially.
Well, it's good to have. But after, if let's just take a step back through time, Eddie, to Magic Round Thursday night. We have a blowout, as we said. And what that did was that put us on the back foot, under pressure, under the pump for Friday, which was also a busy day. We had to dress up as cowboys, punters and dribblers. You may have seen it. You may not have seen it. It was a fun time. Shout out to Maccas. But it was, on some metaphysical level, the mountain that we had to climb.
Hang on.
Don't you go dying on me, buddy.
Just a tickle. Rugby league tickle in the throat. Was it a mountain? Yes, it was. I mean, I think, Tom, if I was to look at it from the perspective of mountains, I would say that there was a series of mountain climbs that we needed to make.
Yes.
You could say that the whole weekend was a mountain and maybe it's broken up into sections.
Yes, that's true. Like a base camp, or maybe it was a mountain range even.
Yeah, but I still think that there was relief after one was done. You're like, oh, thank God.
Yes. As in one mountain was summited.
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing like getting a summit off, you know?
Oh, fucking oath, mate. You're telling me. And once we started that first Macca's one, I think what I realised after we dressed up as cowboys in some very fruity garb.
Yeah. I think it's pretty fair to say that the garb was fruity.
Yeah, fruity in nature. Nothing wrong with that, punters and dribblers. Just not how I usually carry myself.
Listen, it's not how I usually dress.
No.
I don't usually wear shirts with tassels.
Tassels and Diamante studs stuck all over it, you know what I mean? Like glitter and shit.
Yeah.
Or a cravat.
A cravat. I don't usually cravat up.
No.
That may shock.
That may shock and appall. But either way, once we got that first one done, I was like, all right, this was a lot less etch than I thought it may be.
It was actually really easy.
Yes.
Just talking to dribblers, essentially.
Well, that was exactly right. It was easy. And more, as the saying goes, maybe a molehill than a mountain. But one that was made into a mountain because of the garb. As my voice deserts me. That was funny, though. We then... we had our live show. Our live stream show.
We did a bit of work for Bundy, but then we had the live show. And, you know, we got down to the Caxton Brewing Co., joined by our good mate, Justin Horro.
The incomparable.
The incomparable Justin Horro. A real professional, a professional of a note.
Yeah.
A noted professional, Tom. We got down there watching the Roosters and the Dolphins game, and... It's always heaving down there. It was particularly rowdy this year, I think it's fair to say.
No, it was the rowdiest, comfortably.
By some margin, the most rowdy crowd we've had. I think is that our third or fourth stream we've done? I can't remember.
The third, I'm pretty sure.
Third. I think it's the third.
Right. So, I mean, particularly rowdy.
Yep.
But in all the right ways. Like, at one point, put it this way.
Someone pulled that.
At one point, someone got their cock out. So,
which, listen, I mean, that's not an idea. We don't, in an ideal world, want penises pulled out at live shows or on streams generally.
Listen, it was inappropriate for old mate to get his
penis out.
To get his ginger cock out.
Yes. It was a redhead's dick.
It was a redhead's dick. You know, the stream was sponsored, for example.
Yes.
So we couldn't have that coming onto the stream. But we stopped it, which was good. And then at halftime, Tobler sent a message that needed to be sent. Basically saying, if anyone gets their cock out on the stream, I'm dumping it. To which I replied, fair, which I think was fair.
No, I think that's fair. And that's still probably one of the funniest exchanges in our little chat group we have, fellas. If anyone's cock gets pulled out on the stream, I'm dumping it. Eddie's response, fair.
Yeah. But I will admit I was guilty of
inciting. You weren't inciting.
No, not inciting. No, I wasn't. I didn't excite. Nor did I excite the dick.
No.
But I think I was at one point was guilty of probably forgetting what we were doing.
Yep.
You know, inviting people up.
Yes, I did have to sort of curse her. Listen, let's not bring the guy who's off his guts onto the couch.
Isn't that what happened? Where like the guy.
No, because that guy wasn't the penis guy.
No, but wasn't it like come up here and pull your pants down or something?
Well, no, yeah, he took his shirt off, and then you started encouraging the man to take his pants off.
Yeah.
That man, after sitting down on the stage with us, then left, like got off the stage, thankfully. But another gentleman in a Waz jersey, almost like he was trying to rush the stage to shoot us. He was like running to the stage trying to pull his cock out, and someone just stopped him.
Yeah.
But we couldn't stop him pulling his penis out. We did see that. Even if just for a moment. You know, it was like the dick just flopped out and then he popped it back in.
Yeah. Like it wasn't out and about, but it was
he wasn't
certainly
swinging it around.
It certainly popped out to say g'day.
To say hello, and then it went back down below. Other than that, I think someone threw something at my head, which was I did well to not get angry because it was a fucking table number and it hurt. Again, not the sort of behaviour we're trying to foster, but once you're in the thick of it, there's little you can do but just grip on and try not to fucking smack a dribbler in the face for throwing something at you. But a great night.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're a kid and you're on a donut getting pulled behind a boat on the dam and you think to yourself, if I come off here, this could be the end of me. So you're gripping on for dear life during this whole thing. I think the first half, Tom, in terms of gripping on for dear life, that's the longest half of footy I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, we remarked at just the time's ability to really bend. And that was my, well, it's my most recent, obviously, but maybe my greatest experience of time not being like the same. Time was bent that night. That first half went for about 85 minutes. The second half went for about 15.
Yeah, seriously, it was unbelievable. The first 10 minutes in particular went for what felt like a rugby league age. So that was fun, but it was a good night. A great night.
A good night.
Everyone was foaming at the collective mouth.
Yep.
And it's always good to get out there with the dribblers and get amongst them.
Dribblers, can I say something to everyone we met, everyone who came up and said g'day, everyone who came up and made the joke about Manly not playing? Not many of those, was there? That was a pretty...
Well, I think there was only one, maybe.
Yeah.
Where's Manly this weekend?
Where's Manly? 2 points in that.
Yeah, 2 points in that. When's Manly playing? What time's Manly playing?
So to all of you people, it was, and even, look, mate, we weren't done. We saw a bunch of dribblers last night at the PAV. But it was very nice to meet everyone, quite sincerely, if I can be sincere and earnest.
Well, I'll allow you to be sincere and I'll allow you to be earnest, Tom.
Lovely to meet dribblers. It's like, again, some... Magic Round is... I read a comment. I don't know where I was, but I don't know where I've read it, but someone, like just on the old Instagram, calling Magic Round Rugby League's Met Gala. I just thought that was a fucking dribbly way to put it, where it's just all these people up there, all these different creators and shit, but it's like everyone's just dressed like out-and-out rugby league bogans, like we all are.
Yeah. I mean, it's a celebration of rugby league.
The greatest game of all.
The greatest game of all. In a location that, as far as I'm concerned, can't be topped.
It cannot be topped.
People were talking again about, I don't want them to move it. I'm like, that's surely not up for discussion.
No, it's up, dude. It's being discussed.
How?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Abdo started talking about it. I guess they're going, if we've got a product that is going to potentially spread the game around the country, and this is not me agreeing with them, but it's like they want to take this bitch on the road. I'm not going to Adelaide for Magic Round. I almost choked. I don't have to go to Perth for Magic Round.
We've been to Perth, Tom.
It's a fucking long flight, bruh.
No, and we've been to the stadium, right? The problem with Perth is, in my experience, is there's nothing near that new stadium.
No, it's across that air bridge.
It's like a long walk.
Yeah.
So you're going to lose what makes Magic Round special, which is everyone fucking piling onto Caxton Street and then you just wander down to the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, it just works.
It works so well. And it's just one of those things where it's just, let's not fuck with this. Let's not fuck with it. It's mad.
I don't want it to be a situation where it's like you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Don't it always seem to go?
Exactly, Tom.
Yeah. You pave paradise, put up
a parking lot. Ooh, bop. I mean, I don't want to have to sing that song.
No.
When they move it to Perth or Adelaide and they fuck it.
Let's go to Canberra. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Canberra? Did that come up?
No, I don't know, probably.
They've had interest from overseas potentially as well.
For Christ's
so the current
sake.
deal runs out in 2027, so there's another 2 years of Brizzy. But Abdo came out and said there was like heaps of interest from the other cities.
Yeah, shut up, other cities.
Potentially overseas.
Overseas would be a ball ache. What are we going to do? It's like the sevens, like a Hong Kong or something. It's like, let's just don't make it any harder than it needs to be.
No, but that's not fair on the punter and the dribbler either.
No.
I mean, people can't just pack shit up and fly overseas for Magic Round.
No, that's what Vegas is. If you can do it, go to Vegas. But don't fuck up the whole bloody Magic Round, which, again, is terrific.
It could also be, though, at its very core, Tom, a negotiation tactic to be like, listen, there is interest from other cities, so if you want to keep it, you're going to have to stump up the cheddar.
Yep. Completely.
They get about 120 million injected into the state economy each year.
Damn.
100 and what?
20 million injected into the economy by Magic Round.
Fucking hell. I mean, everyone is absolutely ripping and tearing. Like, it's non-stop. All right, punters and dribblers. The potty today brought to you by 4 Pines Japanese Lager. You best believe it's the best beer in town.
You best believe, you best believe, you best believe. Did you like that?
I did like that.
Did you like that as much as you like Japanese lager?
Nah, not as much as that, but pretty much.
Right.
It's pretty close.
Pretty close?
Yeah.
Because that was amazing.
No, it was good.
Which gives context to just how good Japanese lager is.
Obviously, you can get it wherever you get your beers, punters and dribblers, but we are very, very fond of it. Eddie, could you just finish this little live read with another best believe?
Believe.
4 Pints Japanese Lager. We finished our live show, punters and dribblers. Shook hands, kissed some babies and that. And then went, like, honestly, after those, like, a stream, like a live stream live show, I'm fucked. Like, I'm absolutely wiped out. And the idea of going out was just like, I can't go out.
They're very demanding on the mind, the body, and the spirit, particularly the spirit.
Yep.
And you just run out of puff. And they're physically demanding.
Listen, I mean, it might seem like too exaggeratory. I know there's a better word, but I can't think of it. An exaggeratory.
Inflammatory?
No. Hyperbolic, maybe?
Yeah.
But it's an athletic performance of some sort.
People are going to sit there and they go, you two fuckers are talking shit.
Yeah, you're making it sound like you had the hardest weekend of your life.
But until you've carried bricks all day, but until you've dressed up in some fruity garb and for Macca's, until you've handed out stuff for Bundy, until you've gone and done a stream for SwiftX and been, had shit thrown at your head in Tom's case.
Penises flipped in your direction.
Yeah, cocks flipped into your eyeballs.
You
then you won't get it. You're not going to get it. And I'm here to tell you that you got to have stamina and you got to have endurance and you got to have physicality about you to carry on something like that.
Correct.
Like, for example, there's a bloke in this room here that wouldn't be up to the physically demanding nature of it.
Correct.
He's
over there.
He's over there.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't have been able to do that.
You wouldn't have been able to
do the stream.
So you just
pretty fucking full on running it from behind the scenes.
Right.
So that's as close as it gets to being on it.
So you get it. You get it.
Yes.
Shout out to Turpel for running that, by the way. Shout out, buddy.
I had my finger on the end stream button as you were pulling blokes on, because like when you'd give him the microphone, I was just so scared.
I didn't want that to happen. I'll let that be known. I was like, do not give these fucking psychos a mic.
Full respect to them, they were very good.
No, they were.
They were funny.
Everyone was well behaved. It was just rowdy. But Turpel, you did a good job, buddy.
Thank you.
All weekend, mate.
Thank you.
Obviously, it's not done yet, though, so you got a couple of hours before you're fucking completely in the clear for like a successful...
Yeah, still another 24.
Like you pitched a perfect week. I also think it's worth acknowledging before we go on just how much Turpel's Baddie Club has hit the big time.
Baddie Patrol,
not Baddie Club.
Baddie Patrol has gripped the punter and the dribbler.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that it's Baddie Patrol mania.
Yeah, no, it's hit the big time. People all want to be a part of the Baddie Patrol.
Yeah, shout out to all one of you. Every single one of you.
It's taking the rugby league world by storm. The amount of Baddie Patrol references that were made is insane. It's what everyone would yell. Baddie Patrol, Baddie Patrol.
Yeah, yeah.
That and
Yeah, there was lots of interest. On the Instagram as well, Turpel, where are we patrolling? Where are we meeting up? Are we having a Baddie Patrol meet-up?
Well,
where
listen,
are we going?
Turpel was on patrol. I know that. On Saturday night, we sent him out to patrol, and the kid patrolled his fucking ass off. That's all I'll say.
That's all you need to say.
That's all you need to say.
Is that on Saturday night?
Patrol
in a new... Let me read it. Let me read this.
Oh, yep.
Punters and dribblers. On Saturday night, Tommy Tobler on Batty Patrol debuted his new Moroccan lambskin bomber in a black on white number. So he's gone black onto a white T-shirt, onto black pants, onto white shoes. I believe they're your... are they your new ones?
They're the Under Armour sneakers.
Yeah.
Oh, you're rocking the Under Armours.
Yep, and that was a brand new Uniqlo staple delivered to the hotel the day before.
Yeah. Batty Patrol uniform delivered straight to the door.
The Moroccan lambskin bomber. I mean, it's very nice.
And did you get that from Morocco? And
from Morocco.
Jeez, I would have preferred that over a fucking Swiss Army knife chocolate Tobler. I can tell you that for free.
Well, yeah, I did some hard haggling for that one. Hard haggling. It was just easy to get the Army knife chocolate.
Yeah,
and you didn't even need it, which I can understand.
I didn't need
I'll do better when I go to Bali in a few weeks.
No, you don't. I'm going to Bali. That's all right. The thought counts. It's already too upsetting. We went home Friday night after the live show. That's what I was trying to tell you people, because we were fucked. But we went and carried more bricks because, unfortunately, we sit around each other and we just get fucking... The mini bars were refilled. Shock horror. They refill them.
We had to have a nightcap with our good mate Scope.
That's right.
That was all that was. And then you wake up on Saturday and you've got more work to do. You've got more mountains to climb, but this time you've got more bricks strapped to you. More work for Macca's, more work for Bundy. So, as demanding as it was, it was very doable.
Well, it was fun. Ultimately, that's the reality, right? Like, it's a lot when you're just ripping and tearing, but then you do it, and you're like, oh, this is, you know what I mean? Like, once you're actually in it, you're like, this is fun. Yeah. This is, And, I mean, worth mentioning, Edward, while we are discussing our corporate partners, how appreciative we are of them and for even involving us. And I don't want them to think that this is in any way us speaking negatively about our fond relationship. But fuck me, when you're hungover and carrying bricks, it does make it tough.
Makes it a bit harder. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Magic Round. That's what it is. Everyone's carrying bricks there. That's what you got to remember.
Yeah.
Everyone in attendance at the Magic Round weekend is carrying bricks. Some people are carrying more than others.
Oh, bro.
Sure.
You're seeing people carry bricks very early on. You're like, holy shit, dude, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, but know this. Everyone in attendance is carrying bricks. It's just how you get through your work that separates the men from the boys, the wheat from the chaff, or whatever the fucking saying is.
That's it, buddy. You got it.
But, again... I mean, is making Jarch dress up in the Bundy Bear outfit, is that tough?
Yeah.
Is that hard work?
Oh, no.
Shit.
Hey, stitch up Josh.
Oh, what have I got to do now? I've got to go drink Bundaberg rum and sit in the Bundy
Bay?
Bundy Bay. That's
while we
awful.
trick Jarch into having to dress up like a bear and walk around Caxton Street and roar at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Give me all the bricks you want. I'll carry every fucking brick there is. Talk about the gig of a lifetime. Magic Round is fucking awesome.
Yeah, they were all particularly enjoyable things to do, so it wasn't hard,
Well, listen, we're not cut out for it. We're just lucky we'd fucking stuck, in a real job.
Well, that's right, Tom. That's right. Like if we'd had the same night, but then I had to go and work security at the door at the Caxton for fucking 12 hours, like that'd be...
Or go sit at a desk and have to do like... Couldn't do it. So, I mean, I'm not made of the right stuff. I am happy to admit it. It was so much fun having to go and do, the dumb shit we had to do. But listen, this is what brick carrying is all about.
Not a bad stadium, that Suncorp Stadium.
Oh, it's a good bit of kit.
It's a good bit of rugby league kit, that stadium. Went to my first game of Magic Round. That was exciting.
Yep.
literally my first game. You know, I'd
in
be like,
the Bundy Bay.
why the fuck haven't you gone to more games? Well, I'm worked too hard.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't really. I go to games at Magic Round. I mean, I literally don't. But like, it was good to go with Bundy. But generally speaking, I prefer mixing it up in the chaos of Caxton Street and ripping and tearing with everyone. I find that's my Magic Round. And if you know your team's playing, I can understand people going across. What I genuinely don't understand, I respect but don't understand, shout out to friend of the show, Winston Neville, is how the fuck you go to all 8 games. Like, if you go to all 8 games, I respect it, but you should almost be on a watch list. Like, that's fucking insane.
I respect the fuck out of it. I think that's one of the most impressive things genuinely I've ever heard. So shout out to you if you went to all 8 games. Winston Neville only got through 7.5 last year. I don't know if he went the big 8 this year, but that is genuinely one of the toughest carries of all time to go to all 8 games, I reckon.
Yeah.
Super demanding. The final game, it's shitting down rain. Like, that's a lot.
She was shitting it down. Shitting it down, mate.
Also, Tom, 9 games maybe you can fucking include the bloody Sheilas on Thursday.
9 games, I can believe you including the bloody ladies playing on Thursday, mate.
So, mate. Now, that led us to Sunday where we got up late, had breakfast, laid around there for a while, saw Owen Wilson, punters and dribblers.
Yeah. Owen Wilson in the foyer of the hotel. Shout out to the Carlisle Hotel. Can we give them a little bit of love? Is it a Carlisle, Khalil? I don't know.
Whatever. I think it's the Carlisle.
It's a fucking hell of a joint.
Hell of a joint. We always get looked after there, which is nice. Again, Tommy's mugs on arrival in the room.
Yeah, it was a nice touch.
Just a beautiful touch. I think it was Tom that looked after us this year, Tom.
Well, he was on the drove us.
Yeah.
Tim. It was Tim.
It was Tim. It was definitely Tim.
There was a Thomas who looked after us as well.
Okay.
I believe.
But the guy in the car was
The
Tim.
guy in the car was Tim.
Yeah. But we did, yeah. So shout out to Tim, shout out to Tom, shout out to Carlisle, good people there.
And shout out to Owen Wilson in the foyer, which was a real, I love Owen Wilson. He is just an all-timer in my book. And he is, Wedding Crashers is one of the greatest movies of all time. And he's done millions of good movies. I couldn't stop looking at the bloke. I was trying to be cool, but I couldn't be cool.
He had a cowboy hat on and glasses.
He looked like a sick cunt, dude.
And he looked like a sick cunt. That's exactly what he looked like. You don't expect to look up from your phone to see Owen Wilson.
Just
what,
10
around. Minutes, like 10 metres away from less, 2-3 metres.
Yeah.
2's a bit close.
Mate, he was pretty close.
He was close.
Certain points, Eddie.
And Tom, you asked for a photo?
Yeah, I got up and got a photo of him. No, I did not. Could not do that to Owen. Also, when you're as famous as Owen Wilson, you're probably just like, cunt. Like, 1 brings 2 brings 10. You get a photo with someone and then everyone else feels like they can ask him for a photo before you know it. Plus, I'm not a big photo guy myself personally. I would have liked to have met him, but I just, you're also not going to force that situation.
Like, it would have been nice if he walked over and said, "G'day, boys. Nice to meet you. My name's Owen Wilson. Do you want to go get a Tommy's at the bar?"
Yes.
I'd go, fucking oath, Owen. Like,
cancel all your plans.
That sounds amazing. If he comes over and he goes, "You two look like you like a Tommy's and a yarn. Can we go have one?"
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Yep.
But that wasn't on the cards for us.
No.
What was on the cards is to look at him and then go back to our phones.
Yeah. Or, basically just keep looking at him until we then got in the cab. Yeah. And he was no longer in my line of sight.
Correct.
Because he just the way he paired that cowboy hat with his get-up was just a fucking elite. It was elite.
It was elite, wasn't it?
It was elite, dude. There was just no two ways about it. It was elite, and he was cool, and I was just like, yeah, bro. Give me some of that.
Give me some of that. I wonder how he travels with his hats.
Well, I don't know. We're travelling back with a couple of cowboy hats ourselves.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, they're cowboy hat cases, lad.
Would he fly commercial?
Yeah, I'd say so.
You reckon?
Yeah.
To like first class or something?
Well, he'd be firsties for sure, dude.
Like he wouldn't.
I don't know. Can you look up Owen Wilson's net worth, Tobler?
Yeah, like how much money's he got?
I reckon 40.
40 million?
Yep.
I don't reckon he's rolling in it.
No. Unless he's got
Like, obviously 40 million's a lot of money.
No, 40 million is shitloads, but it's not I own a private jet.
It's about 70.
Ooh.
With a grain of salt, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. 70.
Is that what it says with the grain of salt, obviously?
Yeah.
70's still a fuckload. 70's getting up there.
There's a photo of him arriving in Brisbane wearing the cowboy hat.
Okay,
out
so
of
maybe that's
at the airport.
Yeah, so maybe he just wears it. What's he doing here?
He's filming a new action movie called Runner in Brisbane and the Gold Coast.
They seem to film a lot of movies around this part of the world.
Yeah, they do, mate. They like it out here. Hard workers, honest workers, good industry, robust. I don't know why. I think they also sometimes pay them to do, like they give them
Grants from the government and
grants
stuff.
and shit, yeah.
What, rugby league grants or just grants?
Grant Atkins, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Grants? Is that what you're saying?
Grants, yep.
Yeah, grants, okay. So that is basically that. Punters and dribblers?
That's that. Also, well, Saturday night, you and I also stayed in again, and it was an exercise in how quickly can we drain a Khalil or a Carlisle minibar night after night after night. Because we'd go out and we'd rip with the punter and the dribbler, and we'd do all our stuff during the day, went to the game Saturday night, and then it was like, all right, I have no energy left.
Yep.
And then we'd go back, and invariably the energy was found inside of a Carlisle minibar. So Eddie and I sat there and watched the election coverage, which is as 35 as it could get. In fact, it's probably a little older than that.
But that's sort of like that's where we were at though.
Yes.
We were absolutely fucking exhausted.
Yes.
Whilst Tobler went out on Batty Troll, and we just felt like, you know what? Sometimes he doesn't want his dads around.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes, you know, he wants to just be Tommy Tobler on Batty Patrol as opposed to Tommy Tobler from Hello Sport on Batty Patrol with his two dads next to him.
Exactly. And
Fuck off, Dad. Leave me alone.
Dad.
I want to go and chase baddies.
Yeah. Like, I want to go chase some tails.
Yeah.
So, you know, let me do that. Whereas we would have been sort of standing there judging him, and I didn't want to affect his performance.
No, and we wouldn't have been judging him, but it's hard not to feel like that maybe, you know, your dads are just there, like, you know, keeping an eye on you, making, you know, just trying to work out assess your approach. So it's good to just set the kid free.
Yeah, it was nice to have a night off.
Yeah.
But it was great fun.
I think shout out to us.
you're more than welcome to come on a patrol sometime, fellas. Just to see how it goes down.
Look, I appreciate
it. And how does it go
Sometimes
down?
I don't want to know how the sausage is made, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good point.
How does it go
That's a good
down
point.
exactly?
Yeah,
Mate, it's you don't want to spoil the surprise. It's something you just got to observe for yourself, I feel.
Okay, so
I don't think I'd do it
like
just.
David Attenborough sort of shit. You just wanna
from a
watch nature.
distance. From a distance, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You can see the patroller ordering drinks
Yeah.
and telling her about the time he beat Seb in golf.
And showing her his content.
Yeah. He has just been... a dribbler has just screamed out Batty Patrol at him, and now he has to explain that to this chick.
Which he's loving.
Which is probably confusing and maybe a little disconcerting for her, knowing she is a target of his patrol.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There was a lot of that. What's Batty Patrol? Is that what they said? Oh, yeah, I got no idea.
Batty Patrol. Fucking hell. So dumb.
Anyway, it was a great weekend. And we're just wrapping it up now on a fucking Monday night. We've got an interview with... I won't say. We've got a big interview tomorrow.
Huge. Got a huge interview tomorrow.
Huge interview. When you're listening to this, it'll be today, but when it's Tuesday. This is the interview today. Right now, it's Monday. But that's the last thing we have to do, punters and dribblers, and then we are back to Sydney, back to the greatest state of them all, back to our families, back to the job, mate. And it's just nose to the grindstone.
That's it.
Back to just hard work, head down, bum up.
Yeah. Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Yep.
Do we want to talk about it rugby league, Tom?
Mate, not really. I know all the games happen, but does anyone watch them? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch enough.
I'll give you a couple of key takeaways.
All right, give us some takeaways. Some barbecue sauce hot takeaways.
Yeah, I've got a couple of barbecue sauce hot takeaways. Takeaway number 1, Manly's back in the 8.
Yes.
So, fucking get that up, yeah.
Yeah.
Manly
entrenched.
back in the 8, 7th, absolutely flying.
Yep.
I'll be completely honest with the punter and the dribbler. The fact that we're in the 8 surprises me. I'm not even sure how that's possible. I feel like we've been going really bad because I've stopped,
we started all right.
I know I've stopped remembering that. You know, I'm caught in a bad loop.
Yep.
But we are 7th, so sit on that and twist. Another key takeaway is that Nathan Cleary has the ability to masood people and teams.
He masooded the Broncos. You'll hear a little bit later in this podcast, we have a chat with our new friend Julian Wilson about that masooding that took place. It was a fucking
masooding
of consequence. That try that he scored that exactly mimicked the one he scored against him in the grand final, like, God, that would just sting to have that happen. Like the flashbacks.
Well, a lot of scar tissue.
That I wish you saw. Sarcastic Mr. Know-It-All. Bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers for you there, guys. Just a band that were sick once in a day.
Yeah, they were. But, like in that 40-20 he kicks where he sort of bends it inside out.
Well, that was, I think, the 40-20 that he scored the try.
Like, the man's on a different fucking level altogether. An altogether different level. Wildly impressive.
He wound back the clock.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Good to see Nathan wind back the clock last night.
Thurston was... they cut to Thurston and Emma Lawrence maybe it was at halftime or after the game before the next one. And Thurston's like, vintage Nathan Cleary performance. He's wound back the clock. I'm like, the cunt's 27 and he's just won 4 straight grand finals. Where's he winding it back to?
Is he winding it back to last year?
Yeah. He's winding back the clock with that one. That was fun.
You know, like, where's he gone?
Yeah, he hasn't.
You know, maybe a couple of bad games recently. That sort of, like, is he winding it back to
round one
when he carved the Sharks up? Where exactly are we winding it back to? That made us laugh.
Yeah, it did.
That made us laugh. But you know what? If JT says that he's winding back the clock, I'm prepared to go with it.
Well, who are we to?
Because who the fuck am I to say?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're talking about Jonathan Thurston here, punters and dribblers. If he tells you that Cleary's winding back the clock, then that's exactly what he's done.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he's done. He's wound the clock back.
Yeah.
Another key takeaway is that the Broncos are fucking bipolar.
Dude, they're so bipolar. It actually annoys the shit out of me as well because they, as a team, they have a good fucking team here, Edward. I don't understand. I'm just getting these results up. They have a good team. What the fuck are they doing every week?
They got beat them. They got bashed them, you know?
The Sharks beat the Eels. I almost accidentally won a whole heap of money. We were doing a pot bet for Neds, and I accidentally put a bet on from my own personal account instead of the pot account. And basically, if the Eels won, it would have been $18,000. Didn't happen, and that's okay. But geez, it would have been fucking good. Roosters beat the Fish. The Fish are up and down. Chooks look good.
The Chooks did look good.
Chooks look good. Mark Nwangani saying that, you know?
Billy Smith and that.
Hugo Savala and that.
No, they look great. They look really good.
Bloody, what's his name? What's that bloody... Victor the Inflictor 2 tries. You know?
Yeah, good to see him inflicting a bit of pain.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Newcastle Knights get a win. What the fuck is Magic Round? What is Rugby League? How do you pick this game? How do you pick it?
Matty Johns landing a multi that included Fletcher Sharp to get a hat-trick.
Fletcher put 100 on it.
I think it was not a multi. I think it was just Sharp
just
to get a hat trick. Was
Sharp hat trick.
$200.
Oh, wasn't there other legs?
Or he got it 250 to 1. He
Nah.
said last night on the Matty John show.
Fletcher Sharp to score 3 tries wouldn't have been paying $250, I don't reckon.
It's a good point. There's no way a Hattie's getting 200. Either way, sounds like they got on it. They got on whatever they got on at 200. $100 on that.
What's that?
20 grand, is it?
My brain's not working.
Well, mate, you're the maths guy. I don't know.
$200 times what? 100? Yeah, 2,000. No, 20,000.
Shout out to me having some quick math.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, no,
good to see the Newcastle Knights get up and work because what you've been showing to this point has been absolutely disgraceful.
Well, it's been poo.
It's been poo. It's been. I would say that the Knights up until this week have been unwatchable.
Yes. That game, as a result, was unwatchable. But in terms of, it ended up being good if you're a Knights fan, but I was like not going to watch that game. The Warriors Cows 30-26. When we were watching that game, we were like, this is done. Warriors are pumping the fuck out of them. You look away and you look back and it's 30-26 and they almost lost. So the Wars are top 4?
Yeah.
Got to be honest, been talking a lot of shit about the Wars.
Have you?
Bulldogs still first, Raiders second, Warriors third, Storm fourth. That's an interesting looking top 4. Broncos 5, even though they suck. Sharks 6, Seagulls 7, Tigers 8. Tigers in the 8. What a nice looking top 8 that is, just in terms of some different characters in there, outside of Storm, Manly, Bulldogs, Sharks.
Mate, it's a very interesting competition this year. Like, Canterbury have not shocked, but they have in the sense that they're going better than people thought they would. Canberra coming second. People, including Tom Birmingham, had them coming last.
I had them coming dead last.
The Warriors have been so inconsistent the last few years that you just don't know what to expect with them. Melbourne top 4, you probably thought they'd be higher. The Broncos suck. I don't understand how they're 5th.
No, I don't get it. But nothing makes sense. So like
they've won 5 of their 9 games they've played. Like that doesn't make any sense to me in my mind.
They've won 5 of 9. Yes.
Again, they must have started really well because my memory is obviously based off what I saw on the weekend. And then they won the week. They won the week before that, got that, but then they lost the 2 before that. So the fact they're 5th, fucking interesting. There's teams in the top 8 that are on form slumps that are still there, you know?
Yes. We then move on to what else happened here. Tigers, Dragons. Mate, pour one out for fucking Jaden Sewer. Did you see him diving over the line and then...
Losing the ball,
yep. And then Jareem running the length of the rugby league football field. In fact, more like 105 metres, I believe Andrew Voss said.
That's tough.
I don't know.
How do you drop that? How does that come out?
Oh, bad luck, mate. Just some bad luck.
You reckon that's bad luck?
Yes. I think his knee hit it. But he was also going to put it down, like, hold it and put it down. He was going for the, not fully, like, I don't even know how to say... tuck it under your fucking arm and dive, is what I'm saying. Or hold it with 2 hands and place it down. Don't do it where you're like holding it in one arm away from your body to like slam it down, you know?
Yeah. Like you need to simplify that.
Just hold it tight.
Just hold it tight.
Benji wasn't happy after the game.
Wasn't he?
No. I tell you what, shout out to the halfback, King Liner or Lycan King or whatever his name is. And that's, I could probably just fucking look up his name, Tom, but I can't. He lay on a try assist early in that game that was so hot. What's the kid's?
King Togia.
King Togia. What the fuck was I talking about?
I think his first name's Lycan.
Okay, so
Lycan King Togia.
Dude, he lay on a really, really hot try. Interesting to see what happens with Lockie Ilias now. It's like, you probably aren't coming back in a heartbeat. Even though they lost the game, it was 34-28. Tigers. Rugby league side and that. You know?
Poor old Lockie Ilias. Tough going.
Tough going. Them's the breaks, dog. You know? Them's the breaks.
Dem those breaks.
Yep. Dogs, Titans. Dogs win. I didn't see any of it.
Titans suck.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know.
Yep. We've already done Broncos, Panthers.
There's it's funny, a lot of people during the week and then up there on Magic Round were sort of the opinion that it was ambush season by the Titans and there was an upset on the wing.
Yeah.
Wind. I've got to be honest, I sort of bought into that a little bit.
I did not.
I thought it was unlikely, but I'm like,
I think, was it Scope who had Knights 13 plus?
Yep.
I was buying into that more because the Rabbitohs were so dismantled from injury.
But so with the Titans, their 7, Tom Weaver, played like 4 minutes and then got HIA and taken from the field. And interestingly, they only scored 2 less tries than the Dogs, but Brian Kelly just missed all the conversions. So they lost by 20, but I think there was a bit of... I don't think it was a smashing.
Yeah, they scored 2 more tries. Dogs. It was 4 tries to 6.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Christ, I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Still
2 more tries.
Well, 2 more tries, but also like kicky conversions and that, you know?
You just get it right.
Get it right. Do it right the first time.
Get it right.
And then Storm lose to the Raiders. That's one that annoys me because I feel like it doesn't annoy me that it happened. I'm happy for the Raiders. I feel like everyone was talking about that being a danger game and I didn't respect it enough.
What a finish.
Oh, yeah. Was KO Weeks?
Yeah. So there was 2 minutes to go and he chip and chase past Pat in the pissing rain to get it down to and then Fogarty kicks it to equalise, make it 18-all with like a minute to go. And but earlier in the game, Pap had made a 1-point conversion, but in the tackle beforehand, they got penalised for the player holding the ball. I think drove his elbow into the tackler, so the 1-point field goal was taken off them, and the Raiders got a penalty.
So it was to win it, or was it still an extra? Was it still a normal time?
No. So this is normal time.
It just did at the very end.
So
of
they would have
time.
had a 7-point lead.
Yeah, right.
And then gets taken back, penalty, KO Weeks, chip and chase to himself, Burns, Pap, Bob's your uncle. I've watched it. I got to be honest with you. I think that's play on.
What he did?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been a penalty.
I don't think it was that. I don't reckon it was that hectic. I'm like, we're playing fucking rugby league here. Like
we're playing rugby league. We're not playing tiddlywinks here.
We're not playing tiddlywinks, mate. We're playing rugby league football here, and a little bit of an elbow to the face. It wasn't a crazy one. It wasn't like a fucking
concussion elbow.
No, they weren't.
It wasn't 6 to 12 elbows. Or
it wasn't 12 to 6 elbows, John Jones style, beating the living piss out of some prick.
Yeah,
this is just a bit of get that up your sort of stuff.
Yeah, a bit of bloody get that up ya.
So I, from my perspective, I think Melbourne should have won that game. I'm happy that it allowed the opportunity for KO Weeks to be great. It allowed the opportunity for the Raiders to beat the Storm, who I fucking hate, and I'm annoyed. Like, just the fact that they're always good is annoying.
Yeah,
and
they're losing some games.
And I'm a big Ricky Stewart guy. I like seeing him on the sideline getting pumped up. Oh, you know? Like, Ricky's got to be in fucking Nirvana at the moment, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to be in rugby league Nirvana.
Ricky's loving life. As he should. As he bloody should, you know. As he bloody should. Now, punters and dribblers, you're going to go and listen to us talk to Ronnie Blakey and Joe Turpel, 2 phenomenal commentators on the WSL. Ronnie, a good friend. Joe, a new friend. Ronnie and Vaughan had us out on the town last night, and they've put a fucking hurting on us. Vaughan was meant to come on as well, but he couldn't. He had shit to do today. Shout out to him.
The defib.
The human defib.
Vaughanie.
And then Julian Wilson, former very, very good pro surfer, now looking to come back. Took some time off, now coming back. So grateful on that for them to come on.
Grateful in that. Good on you in that. See yous in that.
So enjoy that and that. Punters and dribblers, we are brought to you by Ned's.
Chang, chang, chang.
What are you doing?
God, no. God, I love Neds.
Oh, mate. How good are they? We got down there early on Thursday and we did the podcast for our hosted pots over the weekend. Only bet to hit was Guru on Connor Watson at any time. I am confused about Guru in his civilian life putting $1 on it. I don't really know what happened there, but that was really good. You guys liked the podcast, so that was nice. We might do some of them, a few more of them down the track at some point. But this is just an appreciation post for our good friends at Ned's.
Chang, chang, chang.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. Turpel, Ronnie, Blakey, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you made it. The dream was to get rated on the tour. Even better, you're on tour.
Well, that's it. That dream of still getting world ranked it's still there.
It's still there. It's just sort of, you know.
Well, it was disheartening, our first crack at surfing.
Tommy's shoulder, no
fucking
good.
wave. Well, listen, the shoulder's actually better.
Is it better?
Yeah,
Does it come good?
we may as well catch Joe up here. Eddie's a mate of ours worked out that, like, we can get nationally ranked by just, like, rocking up to a competition that anyone can, like, you just pay some money.
Yeah, the QS, the regional Qs.
for
You
sure.
can get on it.
And so we had every intention of doing it. We got boards and weddies and shit, and then we sort of went out for, like, a practice surf, and it was like, I couldn't get up once. Like, I didn't stand up once. And it was all filmed, and it was very depressing, but I think that sort of put our qualifying dreams on hold slightly.
Well, we kept talking about getting back out there, but Tom reckons his shoulder was bunged up.
Well,
so.
it was bung. It's good now. The shoulder's
Yeah.
back. But it was fucked. And at 35, like, it takes way longer than I ever realised for shit to get better.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, 100%.
Because we had our eyes on the Maroubra Open. We're going to go down there, pay our fees, and just fucking rock up. And
would have
there we
been
go.
incredible.
Mate, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Undies under your wetsuit.
Undies under our
Oh, my
wetsuit.
gosh.
That was probably the
Yeah.
big takeaway from the first time I came on the show with the boys. Tobler had told them that you wear your undies under your wetsuit.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Our producer
There you
Tommy
go.
over there.
Oh,
yeah.
my
So
God.
it's
Look at that.
that's universally outlawed. We've validated that.
You can't recover from that. Wow. What a stitch up.
On your Tobler.
Yeah, on your top
No,
line.
but he was. But the thing is, he was being genuine, and thank fuck, he was being serious.
No, he was serious. He's
He's
like,
being
yeah,
deadly
dude.
serious.
He's like, well, of course you do.
That's even better.
Yeah, Ronnie's like, what the fuck? No, dude.
I was very confused.
But
That's
thank God we had
unbelievable.
Ronnie in our corner. We ran it by him. He's like, mate,
Yeah.
that's not on.
That's
Nah,
not on. That's not playing on.
No.
I can't believe you did that. That's awesome. You went for it.
Well, listen, we went for it, but it's, as we said, back burner stuff. Your voice, obviously the voice is, but your voice to me is like, when I think of like the most American voice like on the planet, in the best way possible.
American surfing. voice.
American serving voice, yeah, completely. But like, it's one that my old man, who doesn't watch surfing at all, but he does your voice all the fucking time.
Oh, I gotta hear it.
It's just where it's like and my dad's he's made a career of like, his whole thing has been like a comedian making voices, and yours is just one of the house where it's like, just commentating anything around the house. So it's actually very funny to be right.
When
in front
can I
of you.
mean your dad?
Well, I'll have to get him on the blower.
You would love it.
Can we give him a call?
Yeah, just the funny thing about my dad is he will not answer my call. he'll be chilling somewhere.
How
That's
does he?
amazing.
Is he good at it?
Yeah,
Bill?
well,
Of course he is.
of course he is. He loves it, but it's just it's a fantastic voice. Were you always wanting to get into commentary for surfing? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, when I was about 10 or 11, I was living in Hawaii, and I took a summer school class, and it was you had to make a little sports broadcast. And I was playing a lot of sports at the time, loved baseball.
Yeah.
My baseball coach was actually the teacher for it. And I've got this tape, I just found it, a VHS tape in my mom's garage, where I had to do like Los Angeles Dodgers report, Lakers, all the teams I was following at the time. And then I was like, man, maybe one day I'll be into commentating something.
Yeah.
Then when, surfing started taking over my life, I started quitting all those other sports. And then kind of at that time, those early webcasts were happening, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that so bad. And start off on the beach and just would tell scores to like all the amateur kids in the area. And next thing you know, I'm sitting here with you guys. It's pretty cool.
So what, you
We
go down
made
to the beach and commentate kids?
Yeah, so like the amateur organization that a lot of the kids came out of North America and Hawaii, it's called the NSSA,
and it would just be on the weekends. You'd be in Huntington Beach one weekend, Oceanside in San Diego, up north in Santa Barbara. And you would there was no like broadcast. It was just a big PA system and a microphone.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure everyone knew their scores, and so that was like my first break. It was really fun. Got paid like $100, I think.
It's sort of it's no different to moving through the ranks as a professional surfer. It's the same kind of thing, but you're working behind the scenes. You grab the mic, you start at the junior events.
Yep.
And if you're good enough, you kind of get elevated. You might get some sort of QS events, and if you're not too annoying, it's not too dissimilar, the path. Just obviously you're dry, you're watching other people have a fantastic time.
What's the tour life like for commentators? This is for both of you, really?
Well,
right?
you guys got a taste of it.
Well,
last
that's what
night.
I mean. I'm like, more than it's like.
We love it when the surf shit out. Let's rip in. No, I know. It's been a hard day. I'm glad they didn't call it on. I actually am a little more careful doing that to myself, like in the earlier rounds of an event these days. But no, it's a fantastic life. Unbelievable.
What time did you get up this morning to check?
I had to get down to the event. We had a meeting at 6:45.
Oh, you were down here at 6:45 this morning.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You look great too.
You do. You put hold it together well.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's
Glassy eyes.
impressive,
Yeah.
mate.
We woke up after midday, both of our wives being like, where the fuck are you?
Mate,
Pretty good.
Like, from the moment my head hit the pillow to when I woke up, I didn't wake up once.
Nah.
Fucking 12 o'clock on the dot. I'm like, holy fuck.
It was sort of like a minor coma, though. It wasn't sleep.
No,
No,
I was knocked out. You know what I mean?
Serious mouth breathing.
Do you get carried away with Ronnie as well, or do you like to try and keep your powder dry?
Yeah, I usually try to wait till the end, and we've had some classic wrap-up parties together over, so many years. But yeah, it's always the fear if you rip in and then you're on. We've all done it before.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of one thing you do it once, you're like, I never want to do that again because it's a long day. 6:45 meeting, you're leaving at 6 in the evening. And you kind of need your brain going with you. So, I remember in the early days, it's just there's so much going on, too. There's parties everywhere, and you want to, like, experience it, especially in new locations. And usually, with maturity, you end up going, you know what, we'll wait till after the final.
Yeah. Well, day one for us was 10.5-hour live broadcast.
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
So that was a big one.
Mate.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Are you clock watch a little bit there, or are you just loving it?
No,
Surely you
I'm
start
pretty
clock
invested. No, there was enough surf, on a slow day when there's not a lot of sets. Sometimes you kind of going, you run out of things to say.
Yeah.
Well, we had that experience when we were commentating the Olympics at one point. Who was that? Was it the surf? There was fucking nothing in that final heat.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. In Jack's final.
Yeah.
And then just the ocean went to sleep after the first couple of waves.
It can happen. I mean, this time of year, there's plenty of kind of narratives to tap into because you've got that race happening for people to get into the final five, but then they're cutting the tour, not at this stop, but the next one this year, Margaret River. So, people in these earlier rounds in particular are sweating on big results. Their careers are on the line.
There's a lot on.
Great.
Yeah, there's a lot going, too. I think Ronnie and I both had those early events where sometimes you'd get to an event in a far-off location and the production didn't really have a lot of stuff to back you up. And I think now we're in such a good place with so many highlights that you can call upon, so many like personal stories or interviews that they locked up before the season started that a lull happens and they're already moving forward. Hey, like let's throw to this soundbite of their goals for 2025. Yeah. So you always have these little throws you get to do. There's still moments where you're building conversation after 10 hours, but it seems to be way more ammo for us these days than ever. Like there's so much archival footage, past heats, rivalry stuff. So a lull comes, it becomes that opportunity to get off like just the X's and O's and see more of it,
Yeah, and they brought in the human defib Vaughan. They brought him a big brother. He's just like dead set. If you get a slow heat, let's get Vaughan back on. And just you can see shit just spraying out of his mouth. It's like a wood chipper.
Well, he defibbed Eddie.
Mate, he defibbed me
Oh,
yesterday. Because I was fucked when we came down. And fuck, Vaughan's just like giving me one of the great defibs of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Because he just had me laughing, telling some crude jokes.
Oh, that joke is like,
jokes.
I told the boys just before.
It's fucking unbelievable.
That's a good one.
But you got plenty of ammo to work with at the moment. Obviously, the tour is going back to the way it originally was. No final 5, no final day. Are you loving the change back to just 12 events? At the end of the season, most points gets the chockies.
Oh, it's so good. And then the additional part that never happened before is it's highly rated. So it's 15,000 points for a win compared to 10,000, what you normally have.
Yep.
At Pipe. So that final event, there's just more points.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be a lot going into that last event.
And that is that just to try and make the last event more hyped?
You know what? It's just how it should be. Like, with respect to all the events on the schedule, they all bring something to the schedule, but Pipe is something different. You heard Jake talking about it. You know, Jake at one point much earlier in his life, had a unbelievable thicket of just beautiful curly hair on top of his head. He was robbed of that by God's cruelest joke, male pattern baldness. And I said to him one time, I was like, you had such great hair, would you trade your Pipe Masters title for it, to have it back? And he said, no chance.
Yeah,
so that's how much it means. But he did offer up his Sunset title. He's got a couple of those.
Take that. Take one of your J-Bays.
Have a Sunset, have a J-Bay as well.
Don't take me Pipe.
Not my Pipe. But it's our Masters event. It's our big one. It's our, ultimate Grand Slam. It's our Wimbledon. It's just the best comp. It's just like the wave is a killer.
Yep.
It's like it takes something special to conquer it. The women have just been going mad there the last couple of years. So it deserves more points. It should be rated higher than the rest because it's the pinnacle.
Mm. And they've moved it back to last instead of opening the season with it.
Exactly, yeah. So they got the permit back, and also they got the title Pipe Master back, which was part of the Vans owned the IP on that because it was part of the Triple Crown. So for the last few years, the Pipe Masters has kind of been a specialty, almost novelty event, and the tour lost it. So I think at some point there'll be a presentation where the people that have won the Pipe Pro in the last few years will be honoured with that title. They'll be given that moniker because it's Baron Mamiya's won 2 Pipe Pros, and he grew up at Pipe.
Yep.
And his whole childhood he would have been dreaming of becoming a Pipe Master.
Yeah.
And he's actually kind of done it twice.
Yeah, but he's actually technically a Pipe Pro.
He's a Pipe Pro champion.
Right.
And Kelly's last Pipe Masters or Pipe win was a Pipe Pro event. Yep. So I'm looking forward to that prezzo. That'll be a good party. We'll get you there.
Get us round to the crown of the Pipe Masters. You said before they lost the permit. What do you mean by that?
Well, on the North Shore, Joe can probably explain it better, actually.
I'm really thankful that you're breaking this one down.
I think they only give so many, because it's like such a sought-after location, they only give so many permits out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I could take this one. Yeah, no, it's there's a few permits, and you apply for them through the government. And, the permits are actually very strict in Hawaii. There's you can't run heats after 4 p.m., you can't start before 8 a.m., and you only can apply for a certain amount of permits. So there's a permit in December. There's another permit in January. There's, I think, 3 permits, and now they're all for men and women. You can't have an event without both on the North Shore, which is great. And now the permit at the end of the year was with Vans. Now it's with WSL, and so now it just opened up that opportunity to have the grand finale back where it should be at the Pipe Masters. So
that's what we like, baby.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what we like.
You
You
guys
got a
definitely
favourite
have to come out
surfer?
for it.
Over your career, you know what I mean? Do you have anyone that sort of
It's funny.
gets you going?
There was always the ones you grew up with, When I left Hawaii, I was about 13, and I saw Pat O'Connell surf in person, and he was still on tour at the time. So he was one of my first favorite surfers because I got to see him surf at my local break. And And then it evolved over the years of like getting on tour, and you know, I always loved Taj Burrow's heats because he always was like doing something really exciting. He was like surfing like he was in a movie. And as you like get into this role for so many years, it's like I love the balance of variety, but I still always lean towards the guys that will actually give you something, even if it's just like an emotional blow up, or like they're actually giving you something to watch, you know, like they're trying crazy things. Right now, Al Cleland Jr., who just walked by, he's been just like the mascot of the tour. Just his personality is infectious, and the way he surfs heats like kind of mirrors his personality. Like you want to hang out with the guy, you know. And a bomb comes, he's gonna send it, you know. if an air section comes, he's gonna huck it, you know. Like it's like there seems to be, even though he's a really thoughtful person and a really smart guy, he feels like he's just running off emotion and instinct, you know. And so I really love heats like that.
If beer's put in front of him, he's going to drink it.
No, for sure.
It wouldn't have been weird for us to bump into him at 1 a.m. last night in the Burleigh Pavilion.
He was out there.
Huge. Who's better surfer out of you two?
Ronnie. Yeah,
Come on, mate.
He's got it, man.
Okay,
He's,
right.
I remember when we first were getting on tour together, I was like, you know, he'd kind of like, he'd kind of watch. I'm like, I wonder what he's doing on that wave. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got no chance. Yeah, him and his brother.
Are they
ripped
good?
So hard, for sure.
And Vaughan's a better surfer than me. So.
Is he?
So there's the tier system right there.
Yeah, okay.
We've got the tier system. We've got the tier system.
Yeah.
Do you ever have run-ins with surfers? Like, do the surfers ever get offended by what you say in a heat, or is it all pretty? It's all pretty jovial.
One time, this was a long time ago, at Lower Trestles. It was a QS event. And I was actually, back then, you would call a couple heats on the broadcast, and then you'd go over to the PA announcing to do the scores for the surfers only. And fog is pretty typical in September in Southern California. It would just suck in the lineup, and you typically have to go on hold till the judges can see the surfers again.
Yeah.
And we were in one of those holding patterns, and I remember just kept like relaying the message, we're on hold, we're on hold. And this guy, Tim Boll from France, he's a really nice guy. He just thought I was not giving him the scores, and he wasn't really getting the message that we were on hold. So he was like kind of like wigging out that I'm like just saying we're on hold, and it might have been a language barrier thing. And next thing you know, it's like the heat's over, he loses. When we finally started back up, and there's just boom, 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 boom up the stairs to where I'm not even aware that someone's mad at all.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's like right behind me, and he's just losing it. I was just like, whoa! Like, this guy really wants to rip my head off, you know? And Brillo was there, the contest director, and he was just kind of stepped in, was like, what's going on, you know? And then he was able to explain to him what happened, and he just went from like red in the face, like about to freak out. I was kind of looking for my escape route, you know, like, and he ended up like apologizing later. But it was that was the only time anyone's ever like made a charge. But other than that, I think it's been pretty mellow, you know, like sometimes you...
Does anyone get into you, Ron?
Yeah. I've had heaps. Joey's a sweetheart. Joey's too good. He's just the ultimate professional. No, I've definitely had some run-ins, been called out by the GOAT, Kelly. Julian Wilson's had a go at me.
Really?
Oh, God.
What's the GOAT said about you?
Oh...
Give me a fair shake, you dog.
No, there's been a couple of things. Commentated an event in Fiji one year, and he'd had a really bad start to the year, and I was doing post-heat interviews out on the boat, and I just said to him, mate, it's an important heat win. Like, you've never had a worse start to the year. It was sort of like a leading kind of statement, and I didn't ask him a question, and sometimes some of the servers like, no question. So sometimes you'll put the mic there and they just go, I won't give you much.
Yeah, right.
But I said it, and he just went, thank you. And just didn't say anything else. So I said, care to elaborate on your bad start? And like, just sort of pushed him on it. And it was kind of cool. We had this thing, but then he ended up making the final. Mick was in the final. I think, you know, at that point, I think people assume there's bias if you're an Australian voice calling a heat with a, like, Joe and I often talk about, we don't give a fuck who wins these things.
Yeah.
Like, we just want good surfing to get it done.
Yep.
And we also, just want to hear a good story. Like, I'm as happy to see, like a few years back, Willian Cardoso, this Brazilian battler, won an event over Julian at Uluwatu. I was thrilled.
Yeah.
The result was incredible. He just broke down in tears. It's like, it's watching someone realise their dream that you love. But yeah, Kelly was against Mick in this final. He was going pretty mad, and Mick got a couple of sick ones too. And I was just going, Kelly's surfing brilliantly. I just don't think Mick should be chasing 2 scores right here. I don't think he should be comboed.
Yeah.
And that was just misconstrued as like being an Aussie patriot. And anyway, later on, it sort of all came out, and I was like hanging in the restaurant, and I'm like going off to bed, and Kelly calls out from a table with all the American crew, and he goes, "How come you're not staying on the Motu?" Because all the Aussies stay on the Motu. I said, "I want to stay on the Motu, mate. I can't fit." And then, he said, "I got a message from my brother. He said to say he doesn't like you." I just counted straight away, threw Vaughan under the bus. And I said, "Well, I spoke to my brother and he doesn't like you." And I was telling Vaughan the next day, he goes, "You did it. You fucking did it. Let go." No, he was devastated. It kind of like, it ended up being like kind of one of those cool things that oddly the next day WSL was a lay day, and WSL say, "Hey, we want to do a feature interview with Kelly, and we want you to do it." So he's been told, and he's ready. He's at the restaurant. He said, "Go grab him when you're ready." And I was just like, "Oh God." Well, the last thing I said to him was, "My brother hates you." But we ended up, walked to the other side of the island, sat down for like an hour and a half, and just had a huge chat. And I think just, like, people blow a lot of smoke, and he's listened to a lot of it. All I did was state the facts. Yeah. And there's just been a couple of times that I've done that where he's kind of reacted, but it's also like, you've done your homework, and I think he kind of respects you for it.
Yes.
So we ended up having this big hour and a half long chat, and since then hung out a lot, had a few games of golf, going to have a hit tomorrow. He's out here too at the moment.
Oh, really?
We play tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, going to have a little whack. Made up at the Glades. Yeah. Great little course up north. Yep. Should be playing for free now. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I think that's part of it. Like, it was also like a time in our careers, I think, where we were really aspiring to lock down those roles. And like, I was just, mate, doing so much study at night, almost like probably driving people crazy with how many numbers I was like pulling out at the time. Joe was the same. We're just sitting there having dinner with our notepads out, just like writing down people's like past results and how many 8-point rides they'd had this year, because you weren't really getting those packs back then provided by the tour. Like, you were having to do your own research. These days we get
You get it all.
You get looked after now.
Big hunk of field notes, and it's all really well broken down. So there's a lot of stuff you can dive into.
So is there less study required now, or you just use your time for other stuff?
Yeah, I still like to kind of look at the numbers and then try to translate it into like a storyline, or how you're going to deliver it, you know, instead of just overstat people. Sometimes if you throw out a bunch of numbers, it can go in one ear out the other.
For sure.
So I try to think about how I could deliver a certain point, and find little streaks. If someone's dropped an excellent number and like 12 heats in a row, you want to like find those still, and sometimes you get really lucky and you find a really good stat. Sometimes you go through a rabbit hole of like 4 hours and you find this stat you think you love so much. You're like, I just found out B. Durbridge has, had perfect attendance for 4 years. And then you move on, you're like, that took 4 seconds and it took me 4 hours to figure out, like, you got to like definitely like manage your time. But yeah, I still like sitting down a little bit, but with the team doing the research packet, that saves us all those hours that we used to spend just hacking away.
Love it. Boys, thanks for coming on.
Love your work.
Gentlemen.
Wonderful to meet you.
What a pleasure.
Fantastic.
What a pleasure.
We might send you our surf footage for you to commentate over
I
on
would
Sunday.
do that
Oh
in a
my
heartbeat,
God.
yeah.
I would love to see that.
I'd like to go surfing with you guys.
Mate, it'd be great.
That'd be hilarious.
We've got a little video we could send you.
Who's the best surfer out of you two?
Oh,
He
yeah.
stood up, so...
Oh, that's
I
a
got
win.
it like 5
Yeah.
times and he didn't get up once.
There we go.
Yeah, listen, all I'll say is, and I'm the king of excuses, but I was told that I was maybe a little too fat for me board. I needed basically like a fucking door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You look
Equipment's
like
important. Yep.
But you look like shit, mate. Let's be
Yeah, well,
honest.
that's what I'm saying. It was a confluence of the circumstances that really came together to embarrass me on that video.
When you get sent the footage, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm sure it's not so bad.
No, right.
Well,
No.
listen.
It's not good. It's very much not good. And it was not really waves at all.
No,
Joey's voice will make the worst performance.
Yes,
It'll elevate it.
Yeah,
He'll elevate the
which is
performance with his
Oh,
voice.
man. Tell your dad to call me.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, mate.
Good on you,
Cheers, Ronnie.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
All right, punters and dribblers. As always, this episode also brought to you by Good Day. That's the number one multivitamin in this nation. And I'm here to give you some feedback from a bloke called Nicholas who left a 5-starry.
Thank you, Nicholas.
I literally never get sick anymore. We got to remember we're heading into winter. This is cold season. It's
Yep.
flu season.
Yep.
I've been taking Good Day Daily for the past year. The main difference I've noticed is that I literally never get sick anymore. I used to have an annoying, nearly constant niggling head cold that would come and go every few weeks.
Jesus Christ.
Since taking that is
Fucking hell, mate.
shit, mate. Like fucking thank God we came along.
God, dude, every couple of weeks you get
know.
the cold.
Since taking Good Day, I genuinely only get sick once in every 6 months or so. And even when I get sick, I'll be out of action for a day and then I'll be pretty much back to normal.
That's what it is, punters and dribblers. Thank you, Nicholas.
As opposed to previously where I'd be out of action for a solid 3 to 4 days with a nasty head cold. This stuff is no joke. Nicholas gets it.
Yeah.
We are heading into cold season. We're heading into flu season, and you need to start looking after yourself because you don't want to fucking wipe yourself out. BeGoodHealth.com.au, code dribblers,
Yep.
10% off. Pair it with a subby for 20% off.
It's the least you can do, punters and dribblers, and that's all we're talking about.
Correct,
Here, is
but
just do something.
It's already May, so you got to move.
Yep.
Got to move quick. BeGoodHealth.com.au. We're with the great Julian Wilson. How are you, brother?
Very good. Very good. Having 3 great days back to back and now
Yes.
first rest day since I got to Burleigh for the trials.
So, for those that don't know, you've had, 4 years off?
Yeah, I think it's about 4 years. It was the Tokyo Olympics where I stepped away. After that got pushed back to 2021.
Yeah, yep.
Due to COVID. So yeah, since then I haven't been anywhere near this level of competition.
Did you plan on... when you retired initially, was it like... Did you ever have any plan on coming back, or was it like, I am done? Or is there always something in the back of your mind?
No, it's definitely not done.
Okay, right.
It was just the circumstances. I had my second child at home. I didn't know what like the next week, next month looked like. COVID was just absolutely drilling me into the ground. I was spending so much time in hotel quarantine, not away doing my job, not at home helping, being a dad. It just really got to me. And then I had the amazing opportunity of the Olympics, but also equaled extra time away and hotel quarantines.
Yes.
So it all just kind of came to a head. I went for a little walk on my own. Nobody else kind of did anything like that. It was only the Australian competitors and Owen Ace that was his last year on tour, but it was only the Australian competitors that were dealing with the 2-week hotel quarantine to come back into Australia, and we couldn't get any exemptions except for our coaches to travel internationally. So there was no option to travel with the family. So it kind of came out of nowhere, but I couldn't handle keeping up with what I was keeping up with.
Yeah.
And prioritised my family, stepped away, waited for the clouds to clear again, and then instead of coming straight back to competition, I decided to have a third child. I was really enjoying having a break from competition, and now we're finished having children.
There you go. There we go.
That's one of my children as I speak.
No wonder you're back surfing.
Yeah, that 30 minutes in the water is just me.
So what have you been doing for the last few years then?
Yeah, the last 3 years I've started and I'm running and doing a lot of things for a brand that I've started called Revere Projects.
Yep.
It's a surf, golf, athletic brand.
Yep.
The things I love to do.
Yep.
It's kept me very much connected to the game. I've now sponsor some top-level surfers. I have Ryan Callanan, CT surfer, and Hiroto, who was one spot off qualifying for the CT last year, top Japanese guy. But yeah, I started a brand.
Wow.
Pursued my passions that I, love to do. That's what the brand's made up of. And it's definitely a huge motivator to get me back in the Rashi and get me back into this extremely uncomfortable world of competition. But yeah, I'm just really proud of the brand that I've started. I want to fly the flag as best I can. I feel like it's the best thing I can do for it.
For sure.
When you say the extremely uncomfortable world of competition, can you elaborate on that?
Mate, I've cried, without joking, I've cried 4 times in the water in a Rashi since Friday. When I realised I was making the CT, honestly, it's just, I think I'd park those emotions, park those thoughts, parked that expectation, and really sort of put it out of reach in my mind to settle with where my life was.
Yep.
And as these barriers have broken down, I made a good air in the final and got a great score at the start of the heat, and then I was all of a sudden, I might be in this, the big show, started to tear up, all these emotions came up, and then I had to get them back under control and complete the final, and then I found a spot, I won it, and I was going to the big show, and then, oh gosh, all of a sudden I'm, it's all happening really quick again, and obviously the setup here, it's just a different level, and I didn't have the highest expectations to the trials was very hotly contested. It's a really strong field, and I can't say that my sort of hopes were too high, but I navigated my way through, and in the final started to break through into some sort of emotional territory I haven't been in for a long time.
Yep.
And then even my second wave I caught yesterday, I made a nice air, got a good score early on in the heat, had a really tough heat in that round 2 of the main event, and just those feelings of nailing something when you're extremely uncomfortable, thinking you're going to be lucky to stand up to your feet, and your feet are even going to stick in the wax, all those little things that you think you're going to forget how to do all of a sudden because the enormity of the moment, the eyes on you, it's just an extremely uncomfortable space to be in, but at the same time, that's where the coolest stuff happens, and I think I've missed that.
Is there an element though that you must enjoy, or is it you
Absolutely.
enjoy what's on the other side of it?
Oh, to overcome it.
Yeah.
I sleep bugger all anyway. I've got 3 kids, but when it's contest time, even before I had any children, I would sleep bugger all. So amped, so excited for it. So man, what if I just completely blow it with these, sponsors supporting me? I've got Australia supporting me, all the enormity of something that you can create in your head, especially at this level, can become overwhelming very quickly. But then, you learn. Not everybody's cut out to convert that into good moments.
Yes.
A lot of people crumble and go the other way and fear it and will never touch that hot globe again. But obviously there's something in me that can convert that nervous energy, uncontrollable energy, into moments that really surprise me, and I think that's the addiction.
Were you fucking hell, when in the elimination round you draw Ethan Ewing and Jack Robinson? You're that's difficult.
Well, I had Ryan Callanan and Jack Robinson. And
Ryan, sorry, that's right.
Yeah.
Ryan, yes. Sorry.
Yes, and Ryan, I sponsor Ryan. He's just
pulling your sponsorship if you beat me.
Yeah, mate. All the scenarios are going through my head. I was thinking if there's 5 minutes to go and he needs a score and I got priority, I'm pushing him on the way. It's just things that were going through my mind. And then literally I grabbed my Rashi for the heat, and I'd spoken to him a little bit about the excitement of his new baby and shared some messages about that. I didn't want to put any pressure or talk about the event in any way. It was totally his decision. And then another friend of mine picks up the Rashy, Morgan Siblick from Newcastle, who's just come off the quarterfinals at Bells, who's in red hot form, and I'm just like, what? Like,
give me a break.
Actually, might have even got harder all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it was a very tough draw, but yeah, I had some. I mean, I showed a bit of form in the first round, and I felt like I had something to take from that, even though I didn't make it through the heat. But still, it was a tough draw. Tricky conditions, pretty marginal opportunity. I think that's really what caught Jack out, especially off the form that he's in.
Yep. And this is your hometown event, isn't it?
Sure is, yeah. This is where I had my first break. I beat Slater when I was 16. I was a wild card.
You beat Slater when you were 16?
Yeah. This is where I got my... This is where I was, like, really sort of figured out that I was going to be a professional surfer.
Yeah,
up until that point,
it's real.
I was down at the skate park and I was riding longboards and I was doing whatever, riding dirt bikes. Life was just whatever, no pressure.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Quicksilver gives me a spot in the Quicksilver Pro, rock up at Snapper, first heat, Danny Wills, Kelly Slater, and yeah, I won my heat. I was 16. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I came in, I gave my board to my dad after the heat. There was just, people were like up to their neck in the water at Snapper, like almost drowning just because Slater was in the water. Like, it was just,
oh my God,
this absolutely like out of body experience to be thrown into, and yeah, to convert that opportunity into a win and like a massive moment in my career. Yeah, I came back to the beach after that heat, and I gave my board to my dad, and I was like signing autographs all of a sudden. Didn't even know like what my autograph should look like or what it was, or like, just doodling my name on there. Yeah, J and a W, sweet. I remember having a moment with my dad. I was like, "Oh, Dad, I think I'm going to be a pro surfer. Like, I think I can do it. If I can beat that guy, then I got to do it." Like,
what was it like walking into school after that? You must have been a fucking hero.
Well, 16, it was kind of when I started to travel a lot. I was not at school.
Yeah.
I didn't finish that year of school.
Okay.
I was enrolled that year. Obviously, this Quickie Pro happened in March. I'd already missed school up until that point, with some other opportunities with surf trips like videos and things were starting to take off a bit for me at that point. And then I think it was the school principal actually after that contest, got in contact with my mum and was just like, "Hey, you can always come back and finish school another time." There's obviously he's got some amazing opportunities at his feet right now, and it was a surfing school of excellence, so they did support surfing, and obviously if that kind of stuff happening, they were like, "All right, come back at a later date. We support this.
We support you, mate."
Did you come back, or did you just?
I didn't.
Yeah,
no.
Why would you? You're off in the world.
The whole time I was doing my thing. I always thought I would, and then I was still on tour. Then I had my first child, and then once that happened, it was just like, I think I'm kind of worldly enough and have learned enough to.
You don't need to go back and do a geography class.
And I don't have the time.
You don't have the time.
I didn't have the time before. I definitely don't.
Definitely
exactly. When did you make the tour? How old were you?
I was 20, turning 21. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just for people like, I am not as across where everything's at in surfing as Eddie is, but where are you at on your like return? Are you back on the tour, or is it
at this event I am?
So
do you know where my confusion is from?
I believe aren't you trying to get wild cards for the Challenger Series, which is more towards the end of the year?
Yeah, so I have a...
Is that your plan?
As you can see, that question was asked by someone who has no fucking idea.
That's exactly right.
No, this is all happening extremely fast.
Right.
Yeah. I decided late last year that I wanted to make a full-time comeback to the tour, and whatever opportunity WSL could present to me, I'd be happy to take it.
Yeah.
And if I had to start from the regional qualifying tour, I was willing to do it.
You were willing to do that?
Yeah,
okay.
and then they came back to me and gave me the opportunity, the wild card for the Challenger Series, which is 5 events.
Yep.
Which is the regional, Challenger, World Tour.
And so the people that get cut mid-season from the tour
Go down to the Challenger,
and verse the people that have succeeded out of the region. So come out of Australia, come out of America, come out of Europe, whatever.
Okay.
And then they all come into the Challenger Series and punch on for 10 spots?
10 spots, yeah.
10 spots.
Yeah, so it's not a huge commitment. It's 5 events. 1 gets dropped. One of them's in Newcastle, the first event, my new hometown of the last
Oh, you're a
7
Newey
years.
man now.
I am. Since my daughter, my firstborn, she's now 7, I've been based in Newcastle.
Hell yeah.
Well, that works perfectly. First event in Newey, so
Sure does.
get off to a flyer there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky wave, Newcastle. Anything can happen. It's just a shifty beach break, and you'll probably know maybe a few days before what the sandbanks are going to be like for the event.
Yeah.
So it's
Wait and see.
wait and see.
And what do you sort of allow yourself to think further into the future if you do make it, if you don't make it, or are you just sort of rolling with it?
I'm just sort of rolling with it. Obviously I've made the intention that that's really what I want to do, and I had my first experience about 2 months ago in just like a QS 1000 event, a regional event in Newcastle, and all the Australian Challenger Series guys, and like there was a really strong field there. That was the first time I was like fully committed back to competition. That was an extremely nerve-wracking experience at a 1,000 rated QS event. So I almost lost my first heat and then went on to win the event and surfed heats against Oscar Berry and the top guys that are just right there and on the Challenger Series. Trying to get to the World Tour. So I'm just taking every opportunity I can get. I sort of just been knocking on Starkey's door every chance I got. I was like, what's going on with the Oz leg? Like, how can I get into any of the trials? And at first there was no opportunity, and I was like, hey, like, come on, mate, like, I'm last Queenslander to win the Quickie Pro, like, surely there's an angle that we can
That was a great
do.
competition as well. It was fucking pumping.
It was, at the glorious Kira. In all their glory. It was that was a special one.
Fucking oath it was. So you've come close to winning the world title a couple of times. Do you think you've still got what it takes?
I'm not interested.
No. Not interested.
No. I know what it takes to be in that finite top 5, possible of winning every event, like having the whole repertoire. Like I felt like I worked on that. I got there. I kind of stepped away in my prime, but I was willing to do that. And now coming back, it's not about that at all.
Okay.
Like I've got 3 kids. I want to show them what I did.
Yep.
Show them, why they have the life they do. Show them that what it means to me. That's first and foremost. And I just kind of want to do it on my own terms.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of stepped out the side door due to the circumstances, and it was all really confronting. And I never really got to put a bow on it in any way. So I guess I'm just back. I'm experiencing this uncomfortable world again and enjoying it. And it's been really, really fun. It's happening really fast. Like this is the first little inkling of an opportunity, to get the trials.
Yeah, well, you took it with both hands, winning it though. And here you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about like when you're back, you're back on tour and everything, but then you start winning and you start getting up into that top 5. How so?
What if you won today?
Are you going to be sitting up there going, nah, it's still not about that, or is it just that little fuse is going to be lit again? And you're like, fuck, all right, I'm back.
For the amount of time that I've been away from it and how much I've watched it, and I feel like I'm pretty far away from winning an event. It takes a lot. These guys are fit. These guys are dedicating every day to their craft, and they're on top of their game. I got lucky with Jack yesterday. I've got an amazing opportunity with Italo coming up, and with nothing to lose there. But in order to get to that, like, even when I dedicated everything to it, to win it, I won 5 events. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and I just know that sacrifice is not going to come from me. But if I can find a way to get to the world stage again, like I've rat up a drain pipe lately, then I take it with both hands, and I can experience my favourite events again in a way that, you know, it might be my last or it might be, you know, short-lived, you know, a few years. Like, I have the support of my wife, which is incredible, and that's why I'm here. If I didn't, obviously I wouldn't be here. It's family first. So, yeah, it's all it's kind of, I don't know, it's all a bit of a bonus. Like, I can't believe I've got to match up against the best in the world at the moment, coming right up in my favourite event. Yeah, it's a pretty surreal feeling.
Well, it's cool to see you back, and it's exciting for sure. We appreciate your time. Before we let you go, you a league fan? You grew up around here, right? Like, you a rugby league
Broncos,
man?
mate.
Broncos.
Yeah, 100%.
Get talking to Starkey about that if you're trying to get him to give you. I met him last night. He's a massive Broncos dribbler. That's all he was fucking talking about.
Sweet, there's another angle. I'll
go.
definitely put that in my
Broncos
pocket.
angle.
Just go, mate. Listen, next time you want to hand out wild cards, give them to me because I like the Broncos. You know what I mean?
I'll talk. Yeah, we can talk some footy.
What
But
did you
yeah,
think about the Broncos' performance the other day, mate? That was
terrible.
shit house.
Really bad.
Shit house.
Shocking. After the one they did the week prior.
What's doing? You're
Oh,
just
it's a
got
little
like the
bit
best team in the
inconsistent.
comp in terms of who you got, and 1 week on, then the next week you suck.
I know we have it on paper, but that's one thing. They've shown brilliance, and they've shown that they are the team to beat. You know, 1 week, and they've shown that they can, drop the ball the next. So, I mean, I think overall it'll all wash out, and I think they can definitely get it done. But there's some scar tissue, and I think that showed up in that last game. Even for me, I find those that hard to watch. Even like they're not, they're not in form at the moment. They just show up. And here he
I know.
shows
And
up.
he did,
I'm like,
and that
how?
try that he scored was like almost exactly the same as the try in
man.
that grand final.
Scar tissue is exactly how I would put it.
Yeah.
Exactly how I put it. He put a fucking clinic on the other day, Nathan Cleary.
Oh, he looks so good.
An absolute clinic, and unfortunately your boys didn't have any answers.
Oh, he's just one of those very, he's kind of one-on-one, really. He can dictate. He can, he turned the grand final around just all by himself. Like, he's...
Were you already celebrating that grand final? Were you already like, fuck yeah,
man, I don't even talk about it. Let's not go back there. The scar tissue is just still lumped up. Not even tapped into it, obviously. This game,
You're going to start crying for a fifth time
the other
this
day,
week.
there's enough emotions going on with me already. I don't need to go back to that grand final.
Mate, thanks a lot for coming on. It was lovely
Thank
to
you,
chat to
It's
you.
an absolute pleasure. Thanks for
Legend,
having
mate.
me
All the
on.
best.
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Cheers.
Jake Paterson, mate. Thanks for jumping on. How do we find you on this Monday?
Thank you, Ron.
Pretty good. I mean, we all got up early for the contest. Could have been on.
Yep.
So it could have been on, right? I don't know much about surfing generally. I was just looking at it. I'm like, it feels like you could surf those fucking ones.
Well, it's way better now than it was this morning. So there's a 10-day window. They need about 4 or 5 days to finish a full event.
Yep.
And so every day you kind of get up and go, well, the forecast, they've actually called it off for the next 2 days already, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, right.
Which is pretty bad for a couple of my surfers because they like to go mad. And I mightn't see them for a couple of days. So, that's the way it works. So they just kind of like get up in the morning and check it out and call it on or off.
Well, there you bloody go.
So why'd they call it for the next 2 days?
Because the forecast is shit.
It's not shit, yeah. But was today supposed to be, was today hit or miss? Because we were out with some boys last night, Ronnie, Blakey, who was like, no way it's on, mate. No way it's on.
Well, the swell went way more east, which gets into here.
Yeah.
So it's actually probably the biggest swell we've seen since we've been here. But the angle of it, as you can see, it's kind of broken up a little bit, not rolling down the point like it was yesterday and the day before. So that's why they didn't call it on. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. You're a coach of surfers.
Yeah.
But used to be a professional surfer yourself?
Yeah, that's right.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, shit. I retired in 2006.
Yep.
Okay.
Someone old. Fuck. And but still get to live the dream pretty much. I call this this isn't the real world really. I mean, I had to work in the real world doing a sunscreen business back in when COVID hit because there was no surf contests and I only get paid when the surf events are on. So that kind of put me back 4 years I was not coaching for.
Really?
Yeah, but this is my passion. I love this shit.
Was that fucking difficult, those 4 years? Were you just like, did you ever think you'd get back into surfing, or had you made your peace with you were just selling sunscreen now and that's what I'm doing?
Well, it was my own business, so it was kind of like a little bit of a passion job kind of thing, and it was kind of cool, and I was pretty lucky enough to have a job at COVID. It was a bit scary at the time, but one of the coaches I surfed, like like the tour came back, obviously, because it only was only off for a year and a bit. And then he just goes, please come back. I want you back. And I just went, oh, you know what? I'm fucking out of here. 4 years in an office job was fucking enough. Managing staff and stuff is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
That's real world shit.
Yeah.
How do you find the surf coaching game? Like, what sets you apart from other coaches?
Well, I rate myself as probably the biggest overachiever in the business. So I won some great events in my time, but I was the work hard guy.
Yeah.
With not all the talent, but the smarts and the work hard ethic to get the job done kind of thing. Kept all the top guys honest in heats and kind of thing. So I wasn't the flary guy. I was just getting the job done kind of thing. So I tell all my athletes, if I had their talent, I would have won 3 or 4 world titles maybe kind of thing. So it kind of makes a good coach. You know, so if I've got all the know-hows and how to win heats kind of thing with their talent, it makes sense, you know.
How long has surf coaching been a thing? If surfers always had coaches, I just had always, for whatever reason, just assumed that it was like you go out there and just rip yourself and...
Nah, not really. Like back in there was no coach, or there was maybe one coach kind of thing. I don't know, the money was pretty good back in my day, but it wasn't kind of a thing. And then these days, it's like, it's the whole thing, you know, the Hoyo and, you know, I don't know if you guys know about, back in the day, these guys were kind of like animals.
Yeah.
Go on tour and just go party and have a really good time and still win and do good.
Yeah. We've heard tales.
And now, these days, it's just a profession, it's a proper profession. These guys have nutritionists, psychs and everything. So, you know, and obviously coaches. So it's great for me.
And is your main role sort of heat strategy and how to win? Like, is that how you spend most of your time?
Yeah. So I you know, on days like today, the contest is not on. I'll go out there and send them little tasks to do at the contest break, and it's equipment. I have a lot to do with their equipment, what's working and what's not, and ordering their equipment with their shapers, and because I shape my own surfboards as well, so I kind of know a little bit about it, and kind of like going, oh, that's, you know, you need this for there, and so next stop's in Margaret River.
Yep.
So that's where I live and stuff. So I know what boards they're going to need for that spot and all kinds of stuff like that. So working on equipment, and then heat strategy is my main thing, and who they're surfing against, and the start of the heats of like a big thing. So stuff like that.
And so when you like decide to go into coaching, was that like, what's that process like? Yeah, because part of it, I guess, is like at some point you got to be like, you've got to have the confidence to be like, I think I know to some degree better than you, or like I can impart some wisdom here, or like how do you decide that that's the path you're going to go down?
Well, they're all kids, you get what I mean? So these kids that I'm coaching are all young. Like I'm coaching 2 girls that are 17 and 19.
Yep. Who are you coaching them at?
Erin Brooks.
Yep.
And Soy Lindblad, 2 Americans. Erin Brooks from Canada.
Yeah.
And Kanoa Igarashi from Japan / America, and Ethan Ewing, I've been coaching him, and here I'm coaching Alan Cleveland. So these kids are they're all only just kids kind of thing, so they're getting all my knowledge over like 25 years of professional surfing in my coaching package.
You must be happy with how Ethan's going.
Oh yeah, he's a weapon anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't put any of my coaching thing saying that I'm the reason why he's doing, he's second at the moment, but he's just a weapon, but, we all work on 1%ers to try and get over the other guys. So 1% is a big deal, and because everyone rips. Yeah. So it's like just being solid and making sure he's getting the best out of what he can do in the conditions is the key.
And how do surfers come to you and be like, hey, can you coach me? Or do you go actively like looking for talent young, like you scouting?
No, I kind of, so there's 2 tours. I'm not sure if you guys know how the pro surfing works. So there's a qualifying tour and then like the main deal. So back in the day, I used to coach on the qualifying, but I used to do both. So I had a team of those guys, and if they qualified, they kind of like come over to the thing. So I coached Griffin to qualify, Kanoa to qualify, Ziegler, a whole bunch of these younger guys. So it's kind of like they know the way I coach, and they bring them through the smaller ranks into the big deal.
Yes.
So I kind of have a name, and then I get hit up to coach, basically. Yeah.
Do you review tape with them?
Oh yeah, I video every session.
You fucked this up, you killed this.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
I video every session pretty much because that's the only way you learn. Yeah. I kind of commentate as I film kind of thing, just going, what the fuck was that? And then that's really good. The judges will love that shit, blah, blah, blah. Just, and not at this level is a big one, because if they fall, it's just not at the level,
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
And do you have Are there any examples or stories you've got of like where you've had to like rein in, because surfers just feel like they're wild party animals, or at least they're doing this sort of a sport that's a bit like adrenaline rushy, like where you've sort of got a wildcat on your hands?
Yeah, I've got a wildcat now, Al Cleveland. Like the other night, he went out, like he had a big promotion and went out, and he had to surf the next day, and he put in the worst performance ever. And I said, "What the fuck was that?" I said, "We've been working all week at this game plan, you know what we're doing," and he came in with the tail between his legs. He actually made the heat only because the other guy had a bigger shocker. Yeah. But I went, that's just not at the level that we're at. You know, you don't need me as a coach to tell you that. You know you did shit. You know, we can't. You know, you got to put a better foot forward if you're going to survive on this tour, because you can't do that shit.
You can't go out and rip and tear anymore.
Nah, get home at 1 or 2 and probably rude a couple of chicks. I don't know, fucking, and then, you know.
Yeah, and it's part of it. They sort of. It must be difficult in some way. They're looking at you and going like, "I bet you were you a wild? Like, did you live the wild tour life back in the day?"
Oh, there was definitely more wild when I was on tour for sure. There was like a lot going on, but you know, when I had to surf, I was making sure I was ready.
Yeah, okay.
Because he wasn't ready. But my other athletes are really professional. Kanoa's probably one of the most professional athletes I've ever worked with. So he's like, you know, 3 surfs a day, nutritionist, psych. You know, he wants to be world champion.
Are you trying to sound cutting edge, like? You know, in any sport, I guess, whether it's equipment or whether it's like approach or like the 1%ers you talk about, are you constantly trying to like look for that next thing or trying to find the edge in that sort of sense?
Not really. It's just the more you put in, the more you get out of it. Basically, like this Al guy, like he's going, I'm living the dream. Yeah. I might not don't know how long I'm going to be here for. Like I'm just going to live it. You know, which is understandable, but. Ethan and Kanoa and that, they're there to win world titles, so it's different. Yeah. You know, they're just going, you know, I can't afford to have a heat like that, and they don't. It's basically it.
Yeah. You were saying before that you had some big wins in your career. What stops did you win at?
I won pipe.
Did ya?
Yeah, back in the day, 98. Won J-Bay a couple of times back-to-back, 2000, 2001. Sunset a couple of times as well in Hawaii. So, yeah, all the... pretty good events, really.
Yeah. Very good events. Who'd you beat at pipe in the final?
Bruce Irons.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Wow. How did that go?
It was hard for him because like he's obviously Hawaiian, and I won in the last. You know, I was in the barrel to win the winning ride. Came after the hooter kind of thing. Took
really?
A couple of seconds before the hooter, and it got a crazy wave and came out, and he was almost getting carried up the beach. You know, he was going, I won, and then. Yeah, it's a good story. Ronnie will probably tell it way better than I do.
So what did you need to win?
Probably a 7 or something like that. I got like a 9.4. So my hooter. So crushed a few Hawaiian dreams, but you know.
What was the rip like that night?
Oh, it was a big one for sure. Yeah. I remember Damon Hart, because I took all the Aussie boys out to dinner, and Damon Hartman ordered fucking lobster for entree and main, because he goes, I'll teach this little prick. I still remember it. He's got to pay for dinner, is he, eh?
And how long were you on tour for?
11 years.
11 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So these days, it felt like a long time at the time, but these days, you know, Geordie's been on it for 18, and Kelly's fucking still going.
Yeah.
No, he's only just
Is
retired.
he retired?
He retired, yeah. But that was only last year, you know. He's 50. He's 52.
Yeah. Is the tour taxing? Like traveling all around the world, or is it just fucking fun?
It's taxing. Everyone thinks it's thing, but these guys carrying 2 big board bags around the world, having to get accommodation, and a lot goes into one event, kind of thing. And if they don't do any good, they pack up and then they go to the next stop, and it's like all over again to you know, it's pretty taxing. Like, it looks like a dream life, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it's surfing. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, surfing for money. Like,
but it is. If the top guys, it's taxing because a lot goes into it. You know, so the bottom feeders kind of. They're probably having a better time just trying to make a living out of surfing, probably not really in the world title mix, but there's only like a handful of guys that can win the world title every year, in my opinion.
Yes.
The talent level on those top guys is probably 2-folds of the bottom guys.
Yeah.
So they can make a living out of the tour for sure, but to win a world title, it's a whole nother level.
What do you think the talent's like now compared to back in your day?
It's way better.
Yeah.
For sure. You got guys, like, it goes deeper, for sure. Like, back in my day, Kelly came and just fucking wiped the floor with everyone.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
And
pretty
him and
much.
Andy just dominated.
Yeah, well, Kelly dominated, then Andy came along and gave him a run for his money kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know, and then Andy won his 3 or 4, whatever, and then Kelly goes, no, I'm going to keep going until I beat you. How's that determination?
Yeah.
And that was just one guy, though. And then, you know, Taj should have won world title because he beat Kelly one year, but Mick won that year, but every other year, the points Taj had would have won a world title.
Yes.
So it was, you know, Taj got second that year, but Mick had a crazy year. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the talent isn't as good these days because you've got Mick, Parko, Taj, you know, Kelly, Andy. That's a crazy little combo of all-time, all-world
Yeah,
servers.
all at once.
Yeah. And then you got throw Taylor Knox, Rob Machado. Like, that's a crazy kind of like iconic surfers in the history of surfing.
Yeah.
All on tour at once.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm tripping the talent. But I tell you what they're doing these days on the wave is incredible.
Yeah.
Like all the aerial shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, these guys are racing off down the line doing crazy big air reverses and getting a 5.5 and shit. You're going, what the fuck? Back in my day, that's like 9.
Yeah.
So they've adjusted the scale for that surfing, but you know, and the big power hacks these days is losing a bit, so that's getting scored better these days.
Yes. Where do you think it's going to go? Where's it, like, in terms of the tricks?
Yeah,
They start flipping boards and shit.
it's maybe, I don't think flipping boards is where it's going to go. It's height.
Height.
Okay, right.
It's height because, like, if you go really, like, even a straight air, if the height you get and you can land right out smoothly, it's huge.
Yeah.
So everyone can do, like, the pop, the tail and spin and do that stuff these days, but the height where you've got to load up and go, you know, as high as you can and land, it's more risk and it's heavier on your body, knees, everything. So the height is where I see it's going to go bigger.
Mate, look, thank you very much for giving us some time. It's nice to meet you and pick your brain for just a short amount of time. I feel like, and I can definitely Eddie, who's the big surfing fan, you could have drilled down for fucking hours. But, mate, thanks a lot. It's nice to chat to you.
Yeah, no, I've got to get to work.
Yeah, you got to get to work.
Thanks,
for having me,
You're a
boys.
legend.
Cheers.
Good on you.
Nice to meet you.
Could you two just not talk anymore?